Hey, I'm Jacob.
And I'm Jared.
And I'm Matt.
And track 4, KO5. Sounds like Boxcar Racer. Because it is a Boxcar Racer song. Yeah, see? There you know. If you put this at the end of Boxcar Racer's like album, I would have never. I think you could hear it and you would totally just think it's part of that album, and which it was. I really liked it. I gave it a 9. This is in my top. It's a small Boxcar Racer, which I would enjoy another album if they ever want to make Boxcar plus 44 and even more Angels. Even though we have a lot of Angels at this point, I would listen to. I just love Blink as like a whole, no matter what they.
Says the guy wearing the Angels and everything.
Yeah. This is definitely the Boxcar song. Dissonant chord thing. It's 100% Boxcar. To me, this is proof that there was nowhere else for Boxcar to go. It just feels like it's in the vein of it. It's too similar to like End With You, where it's doing just a pure snare. I know they did some sessions after, like they had like Dance With Me. There was another version. Isn't that what this one's called? Yeah. They wrote a song called Dance With Me that they did live, and they were covering Mandy. I don't know if this is from after the album was recorded or if it was like an outtake from the sessions, but it doesn't feel like it's something new that Boxcar is doing. Would have liked to hear some harmonies.
It's 20 years old. It's been sitting on the hard drive for 20 years.
Well, I think there's a reason it was put on the hard drive and not put on the Boxcar album.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's an outtake. I gave it a 7 out of 10 because I'm thrilled to hear it. I think it'll grow on me. I do think this will grow on me a lot.
I think the instrumentation and the musicality of it are very Boxcar Racer-y. I think the production is almost kind of Angels and Airwaves-ish. Tom really can't get like the cartoonish high voice and like sharpness that he had in the earlier albums, and in Boxcar he's very like harsh with his vocals, and it's a little like spacey. It has some of that like ambiance and background to it. I didn't particularly like the chorus lyrics. I think it was like welcome terrified.
Yeah,
I think that was like I said this was a 6.5 out of 10 as my overall rating.
Just the riff and Tom bending the note, like bending the whole power chord thing from the Boxcar. It's nice to hear that. Track 5 is One More Time.
So it seems to be performing the best on Spotify, Apple Music.
This is also basically their entire marketing campaign. This is supposed to tell the story instead of them doing interviews and constantly explaining why they got back together.
I do like the message of the song. Think of old friends that I want to send this to and be like, yeah, I guess until I die, you don't really want to hang out. I feel like it's a true song about the ebb and flows, about like you lose connections with people, but then a lot of times, especially if you're close to them, you will come back if there's a big event in their life or your life. And I think it's this good question of like, why does it have to be these big events that bring us together instead of just like, oh, I miss him, I should text or call him or hang out with him, whatever. And I gave it an 8.5.
I would say the sentiment is stronger than the song itself. I like it as its place in the lore of Blink-182, that they made this statement and that it exists on an album somewhere as a point of reference. But musically, to me, it kind of feels like first draft lyrics. It's a little bit too on the nose about friendship and like how important all of that is. And I do think it's sincere.
Yeah.
But I think what they're talking about with plane crashes and cancers and all this kind of sum that up a little bit better.
Go one more tie-yi-yi.
Tie-yi-yi, yeah, which I'm not a fan of. Again, it feels like a parody a little bit. There's like a minute at the end of the song where they could have added anything else, but they just repeat the same thing, the same progression over and over hypnotically for 3.5 minutes. Travis sings on it for a second, so that was a big deal in the community. I don't really care. Again, like it's like
you are the grumpy old man.
Because like, again, the idea of Travis singing on it, that's cool. Like the meta-analysis of Travis finally speaking on a record, it's a pivotal moment in the band's history. Would you have noticed it if you just heard this song? No. It's like adding drama to the album without adding any notes.
I saw his overall score on this.
So I gave it a 2 out of 10. I'm a little bit embarrassed as a Blink fan about this song.
Okay.
Like again, no, let me just say one more thing.
It's a little harsh.
I would just say, if people look up Blink-182 and this is the first song they hear, I can't really explain this. I can't explain why I like this band so much. It requires so much prerequisite knowledge of the band, and that isn't a good song in my opinion.
The instrumentation I put as the lowest score on this because there's not a lot going on. It's a very simple drum beat, 4 chords, which is not that uncommon for a Blink song. But I think the same 4 chords in the same order, the entire song, with no derivation or anything. It's a low energy song, intentionally. I said the verse lyrics were actually the best, and I think this may be the highest verse lyrics on the album. With no doubt, they're speaking honestly, and they have a lot of life to live and to tell about. And especially Mark, this feels very personal for him. He's clearly speaking from the heart here. Chorus lyrics, They're a little simplistic, like I said, One More Time. I didn't really love the repetitiveness of it, so that was a little bit lower. I overall gave this a 6.5 out of 10. One thing that's interesting to note, when you look at this song online, almost all of the comments are incredibly similar. I've been a Blink fan for 30 years. I love them so much. As soon as I heard this, I cried. I didn't feel that strongly emotional to it, but I did recognize that it's telling a very real part of their story. Most similar to I Miss You, intentionally so.
Very close. Melodically.
They even say I Miss You, I think in the same key or something. Yeah. That's a song that also tells an emotional message. This is kind of just an emotional message put to very simple music.
This song is attempting to fill a very important void on the album, and that is the Blink ballad, which is usually a staple on these albums, going back to Adam's song on Enema. There's always a ballad that brings maturity and depth, usually sandwiched between
What is the ballad on Take Up? Is it Stay Together for the Kids?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would say, or Story of a Lonely Guy or whatever, but yeah, and I think this was the attempt at that, and there's no other attempt, and it falls pretty short.
Okay, this is track 7, More Than You Know. Personally, this one was tied for my favorite song on the album.
Wow.
Very memorable Blink-style guitar riff. You can tell the drums are Travis. If you had to show someone, what's a Blink-182 song, it's this song. It's high energy, it's punk. They are not, super repetitive. They're telling a story. You have a good example of Travis, beating the hell out of the drums. the pre-chorus, loses a little bit of the vocal clarity because the rest of it, you can tell what they're saying. I gave an 8, but I actually think this is my favorite song, so I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 overall. My one critique is that Travis talks about how long Jerry Finn would take to get the drum sound. He'd be like, Jerry, I'm only coming in for a few hours to record drums, and you took 20 hours to get the drum sound right. This album is an example of why it took Jerry Finn 20 hours to get the drum sound, because you feel the air in the room. It's not super uniform. He hits different parts of the drum. You don't feel as much of the live drum sound in this, and that's my one critique of the song. But my favorite song on the album.
It starts with an old piano doing the melody of the song. That's kind of how One More Time ended. So I respect the attempt, the consistency, like the Untitled album, where they're fusing that old piano from the end of the last song into the next one.
Reminds me of I Feel So, by the way.
Yeah,
the Boxcar Racer song.
Yeah, similar to that too. But could have even made that a full medley instead of completely separate sections, but I like that. Double bass from Travis, so it is not the average Blink thing. The strongest part is definitely Tom chorus. I like the tribute to the Descendants, the quick little triplet in the melody there. That's cool. That's well done. But different than the classic Blink style that still had a little more of a positive spin. I don't know that there's that much of a optimism in this song. I rate that a 7 out of 10.
There we go.
Just shy of the 2 peaks that I have on the album, but it's like an IV into your vein for a punk Blink song.
Something about it just feels, just the energy. I feel like when I go, I've been using it when I go exercise, this is one of the songs I listen to. It's got some energy to it that I really enjoy, but I like the bridge where it goes on and on.
Yeah, it's a very marked bridge.
Yeah, that's the hi-hat and the offbeat thing I was talking about.
And I put this as a 9, so this is in my top. I think this, the anthem, and the Boxcar song are my 3 favorites.
And on the turn this off, so first of 2, I think joke songs. Yeah,
joke songs need intelligible lyrics. I couldn't understand what the fuck they were saying.
But they're trying to do it. I like hearing cartoon Blink commercial kind of version of them. The one thing I had too is, why is it here on the album? It's not really breaking up anything. I think it kind of makes sense with the pacing of other albums. The sequencing on this album overall, it didn't really make sense to me.
All right, we're speaking on this longer than the song is.
Yeah. It's a fun thing that's there, but I do agree. I would put this more at the end because I feel like it's just a bonus track. But yeah, fun song.